Unfortunately, there's 14 kids past capacity, huh?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. 64 kids and 50 beds. Wow. So they have 14 kids too many in here. Doubled up on a rack, sleeping on the floor, maybe.
Okay, there's the information. Those have to be made at that particular email address.
They have to?
This is juvenile, and so we have everything here is confidential. So if you want something, you have to go through there and do a public records request. Florida statute requires that they be done a particular way, and that's how you need to do it.
Okay.
I wouldn't know that. This is juvenile division. That's all.
You wouldn't know half
So
the
if you want
stuff
this
that-
information, you need to contact that address.
You wouldn't know.
I don't have that information. I only have to provide it if I have it.
No
Oh, no,
need to
I'm
shout.
fine.
It's loud.
I'm fine. And
Are you
please
a
send
lawyer?
it down there.
Are you one of the state attorneys?
Yes, I'm an assistant state attorney.
So you're.
That's where our email requests go
So
for
you're-
public records.
So you passed the bar? To be a state attorney?
It's a
Several
valid
years
question.
ago.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Several years ago.
I'll be
How
right-
many cases have what?
Have been prosecuted.
Maybe used to pushing people around in the courtroom, but not here today. Hey everybody, Rights Crispy here. Recently, Rogue Nation and I went on the road to go up to Pensacola for Audit Palooza. We met up with a bunch of other channels and had a lot of fun that weekend. But we decided to do some work first in Escambia County, and what we found was pretty disturbing. You know, the United States leads the world in prisoners. 1 in 4 prisoners on this planet are here in the land of the free, and a lot of them are kids.
Trying to make a request now.
Is that Amsterdam? Is that Amsterdam? I think so.
Yeah, Holland.
Yeah.
The tulip bubble
Yeah.
of the 1500s, yeah.
Right.
Somebody's gonna come up to talk.
Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, didn't you hear about that? The tulip bubble of Holland back in the late, 1500s?
Oh,
They started growing a whole bunch of tulips, and the price kept going up and up and up and up.
Yeah, it was the birth of the futures market and the first crash.
Hi, what can I
Hello.
help you with?
I'm just here to make a public record request.
Okay, there's the information. Those have to be made at that particular email address.
They have to?
This is juvenile, and so we have everything here is confidential. So if you want something, you have to go through there and do a public records request. Florida statute requires that they be done a particular way, and that's how you need to do it.
Oh, really? So the
Yeah.
particular
When did that
way
change?
isn't that?
I'm sorry?
When did that change? Because the particular way is any member of the agency can take our request down.
Well,
And in a
we can take
reasonable-
our request, but we have one person who's our contact
Right.
person, so that's who you need to reach.
Okay,
Yeah,
any
that-
person in
that-
the
that-
agency, you could take a request.
Yeah.
I am
pass it
not
on to her.
taking a request because our records
Okay.
here at juvenile and they're confidential.
We're not
By
asking
law.
for confidential
Well,
records.
what are you asking for?
Well, I'm specifically asking how many public employees the state's attorney's office for this circuit has prosecuted in the last year. What is this, the First Circuit?
I wouldn't know that. This is juvenile division. That's all.
You
we
wouldn't know half
So
the
if you want
stuff
this
that-
information, you need to contact that address.
You wouldn't know.
I don't have that information. I only have to provide it if I have it.
No
Oh, no,
need to
I'm
shout.
fine.
It's loud.
I'm fine.
Katrina, is there like a moratorium that maybe put on right now? There are 64 kids in a 50-bed facility.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, can we just like put a pause on sending kids into cages? just because there's an overflow right now in the juvenile detention center next door. There are 64
That
kids.
is up to the Department of Juvenile Justice, and you'll have to talk to them about it.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't house juveniles.
I know, but
Right, but I can't make the request here, right?
For what?
For what I just said.
You will have to make it through here. I don't have the information you're asking for.
I
only
we
have
don't
provided
we
if
don't
I
need
have
to
it.
get it from you. We need to give you our request, and that's it.
Send it there.
Can you send it, please? Can you write down our request?
You can send this as information,
Hold on, let me go get
Says
a deputy.
email
Maybe
request,
they can help explain the
and
law.
please,
Go ahead.
and
Are you a
please send
lawyer?
it down there.
Are you one of the state attorneys?
Yes, I'm an assistant state attorney.
So you're,
That's where our email requests go
So
for
you-
public records.
so you passed the bar? To be a state attorney?
It's a valid
Several years
question.
ago.
Okay, alright, thank you.
Several years ago,
I'll be right back.
1991.
Can we just start over, please? The Florida records law, our sunshine law, does not dictate that we have to jump through hurdles. It actually says there's case law saying the opposite, that you or any member of the agency, including,
don't
excuse
have
me,
the
we'll take
information.
turns. We'll take turns. Any member of the agency has to take the request, not provide the results of the request, but you are obligated per the Sunshine Act, 901.1. No, that's the what is it? 119.1 to take down my request, pass it on to them, and they'll give me the records in a reasonable amount of time. But what you're doing right now is denying service. You have to take it. You have to write it down for me as well. You can't read my handwriting.
Okay, well, do me a favor and give him a piece of paper.
You can't
to
read my
write down
handwriting.
what he's requesting, and then I will forward it down to downtown.
Can you please write it down for me?
That's what Wayne said downtown.
To go ahead and do that, to take it, and then,
Just go ahead. and
That's
fill
it.
out what it is that you want, and we will forward it downtown.
do you have a
Perfect.
form for him to fill it out?
No, ma'am.
Just asking Marla about it.
Okay.
No, ma'am. I do this all over the country, let alone this state, our home state. You have to write it down for me if I ask you to. You won't be able to read my handwriting.
Specifically,
Yes.
what you want, so I want you to write it down. I will read it back to you and make
Okay.
sure that I understand it.
You won't be able to read
Because
my handwriting.
requests are supposed to be written requests.
Oh, they can be oral.
Okay.
There
I
is
need you
also
to write
case
it
law
down
on that.
to make sure I don't miss it.
I need you to write it down for me, or someone else to write it down for me.
Is Wayne available?
He's in his office if you want to give him a call.
This is borderline.
Borderline what?
Define. You have to understand the
I have
law.
to find out from downtown. I've always been instructed.
Please don't shout at me.
provided-
Please don't raise your
I'm not
voice.
shouting at you.
Wow. The only Katrina that's allowed to shout at me is my wife. Same name. In fact, you have an ethical duty to treat the public with respect. And
Oh, I am, sir.
no, you're not. I beg to differ.
I'm gonna get somebody to come down here and take care of this.
And write it down?
You and I are not communicating very well.
I'm not going to write it down. You have to write it down.
I said, I'm going to get somebody down.
Or
here
someone
take care
has
of
to.
your
Yeah,
request.
I don't have to. You can't obligate me to write it down if I don't know how to write.
I understand that.
Okay.
I'm getting one down here to get your request. I'm being very accommodating right now.
Absolutely
So-
not. You're not.
Is Wayne gonna come down? Is Wayne gonna come down?
It's borderline criminal. It's actually a misdemeanor to deny these public records in the
I'm
way.
not denying you anything.
No, but the way that you're doing it, you're trying to push me out. You're trying to.
No, we are going to get you what you want. I'm trying to
This
make sure we
attitude-
get somebody down here.
Look up the 10th Circuit. I know it doesn't apply to us, but Irizarry versus Yahia and that generous ruling, how you are behaving exactly like the person who was sued in that civil case. The 11th needs more case law, so.
Just a minute, please. I'm asking you to be patient.
And I'm asking you to stop being borderline criminal. This is a witness that doesn't lie.
Mm-mm. She'll take care of that then. Okay. It's okay.
No need to apologize for a citizen doing their civil rights. It's my civic duty. No, I'm saying there's no need to apologize for me.
Oh, no, I know that. I just didn't know, I didn't want to violate office policy that's requiring those to go through that particular.
And what is it that you want, sir?
So
I want Katrina's salary, including bonuses.
Is that acceptable?
I'm sorry, sir.
Please, may I have Katrina's salary, including bonuses?
Okay. Oh, thank you. See, you always look out. Okay.
And also, how many cases have gone through this past year?
And my salary?
And bonuses.
Okay.
Do you have that readily available off the top of your head?
Do I have it? It's available. There's a public record meeting at all state employees. You know that?
If it's readily available, like if you know it off the top of your head, you can tell me.
Off of my head, no. I don't know
Okay.
what mine is.
We'll find
But
out.
I'm telling you that, not just for me, but for anybody, if you want to look up the state employee salary, or feel free to do that. It's under Florida.gov, I believe. It has all the state employees, every single person.
Let's try a paradigm shift.
Huh?
Let's try a paradigm shift. Let's say that I was an unhoused person and I was unlawfully trespassed from a public library, my only access to internet. How would I be able to do all this stuff? I wouldn't. I would be able to come in here as an illiterate person and put in these requests how the law has provided us. So let's obey the law.
Well, listen, I've got some really important stuff to work on. I'm gonna take.
I'm
these
pretty important,
requests, And I need to know where to send it to.
Rights, like know your rights, RIGHTS,
RIGHTS.
Crispy, CRISPY, SPY, at gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
And this gentleman wanted some other records as well.
I need to know what you want. We'll get it to you.
I want, how many
That's better.
cases the state's attorney for this district has prosecuted against public employees in the last year.
How many
Public em-
cases?
Yep, how many cases against public employees were prosecuted this last year, 2023?
Let me come out here because I'm having a hard time.
How to get her to comply?
By force. Somebody had to tell her over the phone to obey the law.
No, that's not what happened.
I was talking to my friend.
That is not what he was telling me.
This is a witness that doesn't lie. Again,
Well, you didn't hear the other end of the conversation.
I heard them apologizing for me. There's no need to apologize for a citizen acting in his civic duty to
I
get
know, but
records
you're
that we
being very
need.
abrasive.
Well, I give what I get.
Okay, how many cases have what?
Had been prosecuted
Maybe used to pushing people around in the courtroom, but not here today.
Have been prosecuted?
against public employees in 2023.
The only Katrina who shouts at me is my wife. And that's if
Oh,
I'm
is her
doing
name Katrina?
only if I'm doing something wrong.
What do you call her otherwise?
K-Train.
K-Train? Okay. Okay. Against public employees?
Yes, ma'am. And you can just email Mr. Crispy here and he'll forward that to me.
Is that you?
Yep.
And what is your name? I mean, your full name.
Just send it to rightscrispy@gmail.com.
Against public employees in 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
And you still want to know my salary?
Yes.
Okay.
And with bonuses as well.
We don't do a bonus system here.
Okay.
Okay.
Health benefits and all that.
Do you want to know how long I've worked here?
Oh, yes, please, if that's on the menu,
Okay.
throw that in there.
I'll be happy to tell you. Okay.
That's it? That's it?
Is
for
that
me?
it?
Thank
No,
you.
No problem.
And please, if
Happy to
something
help.
like this happens again, let's try a different approach, okay? That's another reason why we do this.
Sure. No
Thank you.
problem.
Salty. Oh, man.
I had to go get the deputy. He's talking with the supervisor. I'm like, look, you just need to come down there and tell her to take the frickin' request.
Her boss
I
did.
don't know what the procedures are.
It was pretty good.
Huh? Yeah. It's like, how this guy make her comply?